Hey, good evening, replay viewers. My name's Kirby Ingles. I'm a leadership and transformation coach, your father of four, and a U.S. Army veteran. And I just wanted to welcome you into the chat tonight. And if you're first time getting here, I'll just reiterate some of the things that I say often, and that is that as you come in the chat, please let me know where you're from if this is your first time. And if you're watching the replay, please use hashtag replay. And tonight's topic, or the title of tonight's topic, is called 3 Feet from Gold. Now, you're probably like, Kirby, what is this? Hey, Stephen and Mandy, thank you for joining us. Well, 3 Feet of Gold is a story that you'll find in Napoleon Hill's Selling Yourself book. And I was reading that again today, and I had heard it before, but it was something that I decided to share with you guys. Mark, Andy, Dale, thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys for joining the chat. And so I wanted to really talk to you about this particular story because I think it's very meaningful, and I think a lot of us find ourselves in this position. So it's pretty short. I'll get on with it so that we can move on. During the gold rush days, a man who had been caught by fever, or gold fever, had went to Colorado to start a dig and grow rich. But this guy had never heard that you could mine more gold from a man's mine than you can anywhere else in the world, right? My Kindle went dead on me here. Hold on. 1512. There we go. So that's what he'd heard. But he, when he was digging here, he had staked a claim, right? He had found it, and after a few weeks of labor, he was rewarded with this gold ore. It was real shiny and stuff. But the problem he had is he didn't have enough money to purchase the equipment to mine the gold like he should have, right? So what he did was he packed his stuff up and he went back to Maryland from Colorado, and he talked to his relatives and a few neighbors and really told them what was going on, and he didn't have enough money, and they had collected enough money up, right, for him to buy the machinery needed to be able to or mine this ore that he had found. And so he went back to work in the mine. And so basically the first car that he had brought up from the mine shaft returned a lot of profit for him. And he was almost able, with a few more carts, able to pay off his debt for the machinery. And so he was almost out of debt. He had almost paid off all of his debts, and he kept going and going. And if he would have been able to get a few more out of there, he would have been able to make a killing in the profits. And down went the drills again, and they're mining and oring and doing that kind of thing. And, they had high hopes. They had very, very, very high hopes. And then something happened. All the gold disappeared. The vein ran dry right before they made a killing and all the profits. And so it seemed like it was the end of the rainbow, right? It seemed like it was all done. There was no pot of gold at the end. All that work and all they were able to do was recoup their losses and, basically break even. And so they kept desperately trying, but they couldn't find anything, right? And so finally, at no avail, they just quit. They were defeated. No more. And so what the guy did was he sold all the machinery and everything to a junk man who was nearby, and just thought he would just junk all the equipment. And for a few $100s, had enough money to hop on the train and get back home. And he began a life of selling insurance for the rest of his life, which he would be very successful at that because of the lesson that he learned at the end of the story. But, the junk man decided that he didn't know much about mining, so he hired an engineer to go and take a look at the mine, a mining engineer. And what the mining engineer did was he did a little calculation, and he found out that, due to the fault lines, that where they stopped drilling at, they were 3 feet away from the vein where all the gold was. And so the junk man ended up taking millions and millions of dollars worth of gold out of these mines. And so it was one of the wealthiest mines in Colorado at the time. And so, like I said, the junk man took millions of dollars, and long afterward, the guy that had originally found the mine had learned of what had happened and learned a very, very valuable lesson. And number one was seek expertise in areas that you're unfamiliar with, and then number two is you're always one step away from success, and don't allow that to defeat you. Don't quit, and that's really what this was about, and there's tons of people out there, right? Before success comes to anyone's life, we're all for sure going to meet temporary defeat. But we have to keep going, right? We have to keep moving. Edwin, Terry, Linda, thanks for joining. So you have to keep going. You're always one step away from success, right? And if you just keep pushing, you'll get there. There's been hundreds and hundreds of people that have been very successful. And like I said, they've all been one step from defeat. People like Charles Schwab, right, who had a learning disability and failed English twice. But look what he did, right? Jack Welch, when he was in charge of one of his first plastic plants, it blew up. He lost the entire plant. I'm sure those are valuable lessons and lessons of failure that he learned from. People like Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Clinton, Steve Jobs. I mean, all these people were all failures at one point in time, but they never quit. They never allowed failure to defeat them. So, and that's the story, guys. I mean, so we're all 3 feet away from striking gold, but if we don't seek the necessary help, we'll never find that vein of gold. Even I have I did this year. This year I joined a mastermind, and so I'm a part of that. And I seek expert help through there. And in earlier in the year, I hired a marketing and branding coach. That's helping me out in those areas. So there's a lot. You always need help, right? You always seek out expert help. We're experts in a particular field of knowledge, right? And that's what people are going to rely on you for. But you need to seek out other expertise in the areas where you come up short and help shore up those weaknesses. So what's this got to do with anything? It's just telling you, don't quit. Don't be defeated by failure. You're always 3 feet away from gold. And so I also wanted to ask you, this will be the last time I really ask you this, and depending on the level of answers or the quantity of answers I get, and I'll go back and look through the last 3 or 4 days worth of answers, is that I'm curious if you would be interested in a particular blueprint that would help you find that gold that you're looking for, the kind of gold that I've been looking for. Earlier I said there's more gold that's been mined from the mines of men than the ground. Well, that's kind of what I'm offering here is a blueprint to the amount of success that I've had and the things that I have done and studied over the years. And I'm considering putting that together. And if you're interested in something like that, to build a strong foundation that creates impact, that, creates a lasting legacy and impacts generation after generation after generation, I think I have the blueprint for that. I think I have that. And it's called Smart Success. At least that's what I call it. And I'd like to put that together if I have enough people that are interested in that. So please let me know by using hashtag Smart Success in the chat. Smart Success, hashtag Smart Success. Hey, Ralph, how's it going? Mandy, Chris, and Ben, Adam, Linda, Terry, and Edwin, thank you for joining the chat. So again, I'm curious if anybody's interested in this. If you're interested in something like that, I would love to put that together for you and take all those nuggets of wisdom that I've learned over the years and the process, the blueprint that I have built for myself in my own personal life, which has led me up to this point. Then I would love to share that with you. And so if you're interested in that, again, Use hashtag smart success. Again, my name is Kirby Ingles. I'm a leadership and transformation coach, a father of four, and a U.S. Army veteran. And I hope you have a great evening.